Most relationships don't break because of one big fight. Not the shouting, not the arguments, not the dramatic moments. They break in small sentences that are repeated again and again. You think you're just reacting in the moment, but what you are actually doing is creating distance, one line at a time. And the tricky part is these lines don't sound wrong, they sound normal, logical, sometimes even justified. But they don't leave after the argument ends. They stay in her mind, in her body, in the way she starts relating to you. Because a relationship doesn't crack in one place, it slowly wears down with repeated impact. Because there are certain things she may never say back, but she hears them very clearly when you actually say that to her. And more importantly, she feels them. So here are 11 things that he sees in anger that she never repeats, but she never forgets to. 1. If you want to leave, then leave. What you mean is, I'm frustrated. But unfortunately, what she hears is, you are not worth holding on to. And that makes her feel insecure, replaceable, and emotionally unsafe. So, next time, instead of that, you say, I am overwhelmed right now, but I don't want to lose on this. Can we just pause for some time and come back later on this? Number 2, fine, do whatever you want. What you mean in this situation is, I'm done arguing. But she hears, I have checked out of this, and that makes her feel alone, unsupported, and disconnected. So, next time, instead of saying this, say, I don't agree, but I want to understand what matters to you. 3. I don't care anymore. What you mean is, I'm tired. But what she hears is, this relationship doesn't matter. And that makes her feel numb, distant, and emotionally shut down. So instead of that, you can say, I do care, but I'm just too exhausted to talk properly right now. 4. You are overreacting. What do you mean in such a situation is, this feels too much for me. But she hears it as, your feelings are wrong, and that makes her feel dismissed, invalidated, and confused. So next time you say that, I may not fully understand, but I can see that this matters to you. 5. You always create a drama. You mean this feels intense, but she hears there's something wrong with you, and she feels judged, labeled, and emotionally unsafe. So next time you say, I feel overwhelmed when things get intense. Can we slow this down a bit? 6. Maybe we shouldn't even be together. What you mean is, I'm angry. But what she hears is, this relationship is unstable, and she starts feeling threatened, anxious, and unsafe. So, next time, instead of that, say, I'm really frustrated, but I don't want to give up on us. 7. Stop crying. You're behaving like a child. What you mean is, I don't know how to handle this emotion. But she thinks or she hears your vulnerability is not welcome here. And that makes her feel ashamed, shut down, and emotionally alone. But you can say, I can see you are really hurt. I'm here for you, and be there for her. 8. At least I'm earning. What more do you want? What you mean is, I'm contributing. But what she hears is, your emotional needs don't matter. You don't matter. And that makes her feel unseen, unimportant, and disconnected. So instead, say, I know I'm contributing in one way. Help me understand what you need emotionally. 9. My mother handled things better. What you mean over here is, this is how I have seen it done. But what she hears is, you are not enough. And that makes her feel compared, disrespected, and hurt. So instead, you can say, I think we handle things differently. Can we find a way that works for both of us? 10. You are lucky I married you. And you're saying that out of your ego or your frustration. But she hears that you are inferior to me. And that makes her feel small, disempowered, and disconnected. Instead of that, you can say, I'm glad we are together, even if we are struggling right now. 11. Why do you expect things from me? What you mean out here is, I feel pressure. But she hears it as, your needs are the problem, and that makes her feel guilty for needing and emotionally withdrawn. Instead, say, tell me what you are expecting. I may not do everything, but I want to understand. But here's what most people miss, it's not the words alone, it's the repeated emotional experience those words create. Because over time, she doesn't just hear you, she starts adjusting herself around you. She sees less, expects less, expresses less. Not because she has nothing to say, but because it no longer feels safe to say it. And that's how distance begins, quietly, gradually, almost invisibly. So just pause for a moment. In your last argument, were you trying to understand or were you trying to win? Because winning doesn't build relationships, but safety does. So if you are new here and this resonated, start with my first video. It's called He's a Good Man, So Why Do I Feel So Lonely in This Marriage? The link is in the description, and that's where this whole journey begins. And if somewhere this feels familiar, don't ignore it because these are small things, but they add up. And over time, they create a distance that's hard to explain. But it's very easy to feel it. And if you have been sensing that something is off, but you can't clearly name it, you don't have to figure it out alone. Sometimes what's damaging the relationship is not obvious until someone helps you see it clearly. So you can go ahead and book a one on one clarity call with me right now. The link is in the description below. And we'll look at your patterns together. Because clarity, not more patience, not more adjusting, is what actually changes things.